Hello, Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World. It's Sunday night. I have had one heck of a weekend making videos at Fort Frederick State Park for the Civilian Conservation Corps program. I'm really asking that some of you will consider going to Bill's History World with Goober the Traveling Bear and check some of those videos out. Well, tonight we're going to go through a turn or so of a certain rule set for the Boxer Rebellion in 54 millimeter with armies in plastic. So we're turning the camera over here a bit and we're going to hop in front of the camera. So anyhow, believe it or not, we're going to use The Sword and the Flame by Larry Brom. I played many games with Mr. Larry at different Historicon, Cold Wars and things. He was an awesome person. And these wargame rules, there's the 20th anniversary edition. This is a supplement that contains the Boxer Rebellion, French Indian War. Larry also produced several different brigade level games, Napoleonics. I also like to mention Mark Festaso, and he has a lot of campaign booklets. One with the Boxer Rebellion, which this is a scenario where Admiral Seymour's train has been blocked by an explosion here. The train tracks are wrecked. Our troops are disembarking. They're going to try to repair the tracks. And before I go over the battlefield some more, my Goober the Traveling Bear calendar on Blue Panther Printing. It's only $15. Some wonderful historic sites are in this. Then all the proceeds for this calendar will go to the Maryland Veterans Museum this year. And I really hope some of you will consider purchasing one and help support my Maryland veterans. And this video here is actually going to support Toys for Tots. Now, believe it or not, I've had some people say they never played The Sword and the Flame, don't know anything about it. And then there's some of you out there that grew up on The Sword and the Flame. So, very quickly, it uses D6s for movement and D20s for firing. I'm not going to do a lot on these charts. We just know that we're going to roll 2 dice for our allied, I'm going to call them allied forces, and our boxers are going to roll 3 dice for tonight's game. Ranges for tonight will be 24 inches. Something else to let you know about is I'm pulling off all figures that aren't flocked. So all our allied forces have been flocked, and then all our boxers, and they're outnumbered. And I'm going to just pan to the right a little bit. I don't want to put those in this video with them being unflocked. I'm a little concerned that someone will take me to task for having unflocked bases. So, for those of you who've never played Sword in the Flame, we have a deck of cards. If it's a red card, a British unit moves. And for tonight, we're just going to flip through a few cards and see what happens. So it's a British 5. So what we're going to do, and this is more of a, just to show you how this works, we're going to activate the platoon. There's 2 platoons of Japanese infantry here, and we're going to activate one of the 10 figures, and they're going to move up to see about engaging those boxers there. So next thing I do is I take 2d6 and I roll them for 6 inches. I roll the 4 and a 2. Sorry I didn't put that in the camera. So there's, so I'm going to just come up here and line up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we have a leader. Now, it looks like I could have some deserters from my Japanese unit. We'll throw these 2 naval guys in. So our unit has moved, and I'm going to throw a piece of lichen right there to show that they've moved. All right, now on our card flipping, there we are. So this is more of an education video than an actual playing video. So we have red 5. So that means another Western force would get to move. And we're going to bring up the other Japanese unit. And re-roll 6 again. And that one we're going to send this way. So we can start or 5. Now Mark Fastasso's book is really good. Along with, he's made several with other wargamers, with Roxanne Panton, I believe. And, gosh, I forgot the several other people, and I have a brain freeze at the moment. So we have moved another unit, Rob Jones, Dr. Rob Jones, or Roy Jones, excuse me. Dr. Roy Jones did this Anglo-Zulu War one. I'm going to pause the camera here. All right, welcome back. So I put a piece of lichen here. My Game Master box full of stuff is actually stored and ready to get loaded into the car. So we have another card up, but this time it is black. So we'll activate. We have a black queen. We're going to activate some boxers. So we come over here to these boxers here, the Righteous Harmonious Fists. And we actually have our cool Boxer Rebellion book by Larry. And there's the Chinese. And we're going to do regulars with 4 dice. So we're grabbing 4 dice, 4d6. And we're going to activate that unit you see right there. 10, 15. And my boxers are going to zip across 15 inches. And because this is more of a demo video, Sword in the Flame does not work well with a lot of figures in one person. But they will get almost to here. And I'm going to just put these in a hodgepodge mode, sort of like this. All right, and here's our leader, and I'll put a thing of lichen there. Now, so they're charging out. And of course, they wouldn't have enough movement. And then there is a charge bonus, which they would get for boxers on foot. They're still 4 dice, which, and I have a leader, by the way, and they would need a 4, 5, or 6 to charge, which they did anyhow, but they're not there. Now, due to several reasons, on making this video, there are really neat things about Larry's system. And it was the ease of movement. His book contained a player's, how to paint your figures, how to do the terrain. I mean, this book, when it came to colonial warfare, it's like the Bible. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to flip another card, and we'll see what that is. We have another boxer card, and Now, this game with one person, it could probably take me a couple hours to play. So we're going to activate that Boxer unit there. And all we're going to have it do is move up to get ready to fire. And we'll put a little like in there. And we're going to flip another card. And it's a black Boxer. So right now, we're going to say that we're only using the 3 Boxers and the 2 Japanese units and the tail of the train with the machine gun. So we're going to go ahead to the firing phase. So I'm flipping a card, and it is a Boxer card. So we're going to have this Boxers here fire. Now, in firing, use a D20. The very original rules, they used to have you roll a D6 against a fraction number, but that's making me look really old. So here we have our very cool chart. Our units are in the open, and so we're going to use good old Boxers with their poor type of weapons, and they need, on D20s, they need 1s, 2s, and 3s. Now, I'll pause the camera, grab my D20s, and roll that. Okay, everyone. Well, we'll use this as our guide. We got 12 D20s, and we need 1s, 2s, and 3s to score hits on that Japanese infantry. And we got 1 hit. Now, this is what's really unique about this system, and it also can take some time. 6 people or less, this system works good. We have to find out what happened to that figure. So, we got a jack, a black jack. Now, a red heart is a kill. Blacks are just a morale check is what I do. Diamonds are a wound, and 2 wounds is a death. So there are several optional and home brew add-ons to the Sword and the Flame. So we are going to have our Japanese have been fired on. We'll pause the camera here. So we do need to send out, I had to check. It's been a while. And so that jack caused a wound. We're flipping the card. This unit is fired. We have a red British. So we're going to have our British unit, and I'm going to use the Japanese unit over there. And the reason is they haven't taken any casualties. And here we go. And I didn't check to see. I have to check to see what the number is. I got to take that. I need my 12 dice. I need 10 dice for this. All right. So they're all going to be Western rifles. And the Chinese, we're going to say they're in open order for this. And so in open order, I need 1 through 6s. So I have almost a double chance to hit than the Boxers did. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 hits. Now I'm setting my dice here that I have 5 hits. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm all alone here. And we're going to go, well, that's a leader. So the leader is dead. And we have a wound, another wound, a dead, and another wound. So we have 1, 2, we got another dead, and I got to put out tabs. So they lost. The leader died. We got a morale check, and that's how that works. So we have wound, another wound, and a dead leader. So that was a pretty good volley from our Japanese there. All right, so to give you a feeling of the Sword and the Flame for our morale, you have to check to see how we're doing. So they had a critical, and because their leader is dead, we got to check that morale number. And these are just old boxers. No leader with a critical, and they're going to need a roll 2 dice, and they failed. So this boxer unit here, with its losing its leader, doing a critical morale check, it's got 1 other wounded figure, and then 2 dead. So they would run off, and so the Japanese firing there drove off that unit. And yes, the boxers have probably the poorest of the morales of the Sword and the Flames. And as far the Zulus, I think, are the best. The Boers have extra range. So this is how the Sword and the Flame plays. Now, that is a neat charge there that's not going in. We're going to flip a card, and it's British. All right, so we're going to see how this Potato Digger machine gun, and it's right here. Now, the machine gun, we're going to have that fire, and it's 3 times 3. We got a 3-man crew on our little chart. 3 times 3 is 9 dice, and we're firing away, and we got 4 hits. So the machine gun's firing at that charging group. 1, 2. The leader is dead. Boy, we killed another leader, another dead, and another dead. So they suffered 3 dead. So they suffered 3 dead, and their leader died. So I'm going to have to do a critical morale check, and they failed. So the Potato Digger gun, grab my markers. So our Potato Digger gun fired away and drove these figures back. And for right now, I'm just, for demonstration purposes, this leader is dead, and these boxers run off, and we have a wound and another morale, 2 dead and a morale check or wound marker, and they are running back. And you can't see that because I didn't move the camera. Okay, so in our demo, we have movement with our cards, D6s to move, D20s for firing, and cards for your activation. So that's how the Sword and the Flame is played, and this is like a 15-minute Sword and the Flame intro. And I know that Sword and the Flame is not used like it was because there's so many other rules out there. But I played hundreds of Sword and the Flame games. I was in an Anglo-Zulu game with Larry Brom not long before he passed away. There's about 20 of us. It was at Historicon, and it was a great game. So, The Sword and the Flame. There's the book, and there's a ton of information along with the supplement. And the French Indian War version in here is really cool. Boxer Rebellion. And Mark's Game Room, by the way, Mark Fostaso, famous video person. He's got Mark's Game Room. Anyhow, these books he has are phenomenal. All right, well, last but not least, I'm going to close out the video. Don't forget your Goober the Traveling Bear calendar on Blue Panther Printing website, Bill Molyneux Games. And this video here is raising money for Toys for Tots. Stay safe, be kind, be courteous, and thank you for watching my channel. I do appreciate everyone that watches.